What is up? Welcome back to the Vendetta Sports Daily Show, Vendetta Sports Media Daily Show. It is May 23rd. My name is Matt Hanifan. I'm here with Anthony Miranda. Anthony, what's going on, man? How's it going?
Uh, Good. Just enjoying the NBA playoffs. It's getting towards the finish, so excited about some of the basketball happening.
Oh man, you're telling me if you can't
I was
see
gonna say
the
I could see
flag
it in the
right behind
background.
me. But no, man, I'm doing good as well. But first, before we jump into the playoffs, there is some pretty, I don't want to say breaking news. I don't know how much many people are surprised by this or not surprised by it, but it was kind of shattering news across the NBA circles because who it involved. Chris Haynes came out with a report fairly short, about probably an hour or two after the Nuggets won the Western Conference Finals, and LeBron James is now reportedly contemplating retirement and is unsure if he'll be back for the 23-24 season for the Los Angeles Lakers. Uh, what thoughts? Like, what was your immediate reaction? I guess, kind of when that news broke.
I mean, my immediate reaction was kind of just like whatever, honestly, because he's contemplating retirement. I guess that's like a normal thing to do when you're going into your 23rd season. I mean, because I just looked at it like he said he wanted to play with Bronny, so I figured he'll play with Bronny and then
Right.
retire. And if I wonder if he can, yeah, if even if maybe he takes a season off or something like that. I thought about that as well, but I don't know. I mean, I just don't think when you see someone play that long and he still looks good, I didn't take it like extremely serious as he's like because it's not like necessarily that his body's failing him because he can still play.
Right.
But
Right.
so therefore, I think he will. At least till Bronny. I don't know if that's going to be Bronny's going to be a one and done at USC or something, or if he wants to maybe do 2 years. But I mean, definitely, I guess it definitely is shocking though, especially because he has been the best player for so long and one of the best players of all time. And whenever you're losing someone of like his caliber and like a world of a favorite across the world, it is big news.
Yeah, he has, I think, one more guaranteed year, which is next season. Then he has the player option. I don't remember for how many. I can look that up now. But no, I mean, I pretty much had the same reaction because it's like I'm sure he considered retirement last season
Uh-huh.
and the season before that, and so to me, this almost feels like more of a leverage play because then obviously, like D'Angelo Russell's a free agent in the offseason. There was one guy who was also at the game last night, one by the name of Kyrie Irving, who's also a free agent this offseason. And so it feels like LeBron's trying. I mean, LeBron's now 38, and so he can play the I might retire or else type card.
Hmm.
And it feels like one of those things where he's trying to like hint to management, like, hey, let's let's get Kyrie Irving or someone else, and let's make some considerable move instead of me retiring. I don't mean to me, I'm not buying the whole retirement thing yet. If I'm being honest, the only way he would do it is, as you mentioned before, is if he sat 1 year, kind of just like wanted to watch Bronny play at USC. Was kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like kind of not re-energize his body, but
Hmm.
to save it a little bit, and
Yeah.
then go wherever Bronny goes as a free agent. But he's still under contract, and so it's like I don't know how that would be. I don't know what their dead cap would look like if, let's say, he did retire and the Lakers are like, wait, are we still paying this guy 35, 40 million, whatever the number is? It felt like something that like he's going to be trying to hint at the front office to make certain moves, especially given the series that D'Angelo Russell had, which was not a good series at all. But
Uh-huh.
uh, I just didn't really buy it that much. I was just kind of
Okay.
like this just feels like it just doesn't make much sense. I mean, again, he wanted to play with Bronny, and he said that
Hmm.
over and over again. And so the fact that he's going to come out and be like, "Yeah, I have to think about it a lot," I'm considering, or he didn't say he was considering retiring, but he hinted at it, and then of course Haynes with the report. It felt strange to me. It didn't feel. I didn't really take it super seriously, if that's, I guess, the best way of putting it.
No, I'm definitely in the same boat because I feel like this is just something like, because I mean, Brady did this, a couple times, and now like the media is going to talk about it all summer, or at least all off season and stuff like that too. I feel like it's something players do just because,
Yeah.
especially because they get more attention, or like Aaron Rodgers, didn't he do that too? But,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think then I would agree with your point about it giving more leverage or whatever. That's what. So I don't know. I'm not trying to like downplay it by any means because I know this is like some people's favorite player, and he's been the face of the league for so long. But I just I didn't really believe it either. I didn't even really think it was like a thought or a possibility, like, or it's a small possibility. But
Right.
I would think, playing with his son, because that's going to be so cool when that happens too. I just figured that would be like the top, not priority, but that's the end game here when he truly wants to give it up, not like right now.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm looking at it right now. I just completely forgot it was this bloated, but 46.9 million for next season, and then he has the $50.7 million player option. So I don't know how that gymnastics for 97 million or whatever that final number is would work in terms of, like, let's say he did retire. Like, I don't necessarily know the logistics of who pays what in that case. But I just I don't. I hope he doesn't retire. I mean, obviously, I want to see LeBron play. He's probably my favorite player of all time, or at least one of them. And he's still definitely got gas and thing. I mean, we saw last night he had 40 and 10. Obviously, it was an elimination game in the playoffs, but he still can turn up. I mean, I know he's been dealing with that foot injury for a while now, and so that's a different case in and of itself. And he's probably going to undergo a lot of treatment and rehab this offseason just to make sure he's in good enough shape to play next season if he decides to. But I didn't buy it that much. Again, it just feels like a whole Kyrie thing, being like, hey, since he's now 38, he can play that card of, I might retire, instead of him doing that like when he was 33. I think it'd be far less believable if he was 33, being like, oh yeah, I might retire or else get me X free agent or Z or Y or whatever. Now he's 38, and so he can kind of play that card even if he's not actually going to retire. And you're right, Rodgers like has done that. At least it feels like, to not a lesser extent, but he did it a little bit more quietly, I think, behind closed doors. I mean, LeBron, again, this was right after a playoff game where his team got eliminated in the Western Conference Finals. Like, this wasn't something that came out in like June and being like, I might actually retire or else. Like, he did this right after, and I think he wants to make it known that he wants some semblance of moves, whether if they're able to complete a sign and trade with the Lake or with Dallas. I don't know what the gymnastics of that would look like. It'd probably be a lot because, I mean, Kyrie probably wants max money, or at least close to it. Not that he deserves it, but he probably wants close to that. And so I don't know necessarily the cap gymnastics the Lakers would have to go through. Like, are they going to have to trade Reeves? Are they going to have to trade Rui? Are they going to have to trade D'Angelo Russell? All three of whom are free agents, but obviously you can do two ways sign and trade. It's just a lot of cap gymnastics. But it was just a weird, like, it makes sense, the timing of it, because it's LeBron James and he's the biggest superstar this league has ever seen, or at least one of them. But then again, it just, I'm not really buying it that much.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
It's funny too, because like, to make moves, they just made all these moves at the deadline to get that team to where it even was. But I mean, it wouldn't be a LeBron team without a complete overhaul every couple seasons.
Yeah. And then I'm just looking at it now. It looks like, Russell, Rui, Lonnie, Reeves are all free agents. That I knew that. Rui and Austin are both restricted free agents, so the Lakers could theoretically match their offer sheets. Malik Beasley has a club option for $16.5 million. That might be something the Lakers accept if they're willing to do a sign and trade with Kyrie, just for like a money matcher type deal. Jared Vanderbilt's on the hook for nearly $4.5 million. Other than that, like the biggest contract I have outside of the Malik Beasley one is Anthony Davis, and they're not going to trade Anthony Davis. I can tell you that. And if they do, for Kyrie Irving, all right, they're not going to. But if they do, that'd be a very questionable move in that regard. But yeah, no, let's hop into these playoff games. So let's start with the series that ended last night. Congratulations to our Denver Nuggets fan residents, Jerry Walker and Garrett Burrows. First time in franchise history, the Nuggets have made it to the NBA Finals. Nikola Jokic won at Western Conference Finals MVP, rightfully deserved. I mean, he was. It's stupid good to see what he can do. On a night-to-night basis, he was phenomenal this entire series. He's been phenomenal these entire playoffs. He might be the best player in these playoffs. But what were your thoughts last night, heading into Game 4 and then after Game 4? Like, what were your thoughts?
Fair. So heading into Game 4, I guess my thought was surely the Lakers don't get swept, right?
Yeah.
Like you have LeBron, you have Anthony Davis, like surely. But then after, as soon as the game ended, it was a really fun game to watch. I really enjoyed it. They had a couple of them this series that were pretty close and pretty entertaining. But I mean, LeBron just it was fun. Like I was waiting for him to finally have a top tier game, and it's always good seeing him get to the paint whenever he wants and hit his little jumpers and stuff. And you see it every time. Because I think he was 3 for 19 in the series before this, or before Game 4 from 3.
It was something like that. Yeah,
he shot 19% in the first round from 3. He started the game 4 for 4, has 21 points. It's not like if he hits his threes, his scoring is insane. Even this old, like even when he's getting older. So it's good to see just everything offensively for him clicking. And before we get into like more in depth on like the specifics of the game, but I just thought it was a really fun game. It was good to see LeBron do his thing one last time. Unfortunately, because like you said, he did get bounced. But and then Joker do Joker things. I don't know if Jamal had the best game compared to some of his other ones, but I don't know. Nuggets look good.
No, the Nuggets are a machine. Like they've proven to be throughout this postseason one of the more resilient teams in the entire league. I mean, again, like you never really felt like they were really out of it. I mean, they were down, I think, 15 midway through the third, and then they rattle off like a 22-7 run or something along those lines. And it's just like, well, they're like, before you know it, they're winning the game with like 5 minutes left in the third. And then they really took control just from that point on. I mean, they really closed it out in the final few minutes. But, I mean, I can't say enough about Nikola Jokic. Even after he went, quote-unquote, God mode in Game 1, even though it felt like in Games 2 and 3 he didn't insert his will the entire game. Across his final 3 games, he still averaged like 26, 12, and 11 on 61% true shooting. It's just like there's nothing you can do about it. He's going to get his whenever he wants. He's going to get to his spots. I mean, one thing I really commended him for this entire series was once he was getting rebounds, he was pushing the pace and finding whether it was Bruce Brown or Michael Porter Jr. or KCP just in transition and getting them open looks in early offense, especially when it's 5-on-3, 4-on-3, when they're in advantageous semi-transition situations. And it felt like, I mean, Denver can just get offense whenever they want. I mean, in this series, they averaged, I think, 122 points per 100 possessions. These entire playoffs, they lead, I think, scoring over 119 points per 100 possessions. Like, they're just playing offense at an absurd rate. They're one of the most efficient teams from effective field goal percentage, true shooting percentage, 3-point percentage. Like, they're just getting whatever offense they want. And it's in large part due to playing offense through Jokic, which obviously they've done the entire season. And he's the 2-time MVP for a reason. Like, again, he's going to get his. Those couple of weird threes, those one-legged threes where he's just fading from 30 feet over Anthony Davis or over whomever, and he just finds a way to make them. It's just like that's not something that's necessarily new from him, but every time he does it, it's just like, how are you able to do this in like just incredibly late shot clock situations? Like usually this is inefficient offense, but yet he makes it look so ridiculously easy. And it's just a lot of fun to watch for him at least. And then obviously Jamal Murray was tremendous.
That's one point I was gonna bring up too is because I'd obviously see he's hit those shots before.
Yeah,
I've seen it
that's the crazy
against. Yeah, I've seen it like when I watch like Kings games or like sometimes I got Sports Center on and it's like, a top play. And maybe this is because I'm not watching every Denver game, but he's done this almost like one shot a game now, or at least once every 2 games in the playoffs. And I don't know I don't know if that's me not watching in the Denver games or he's just raising like his level of play again and continually like, I don't know, because he's hit multiple of those now. And yeah, it is. No, I'm in awe every time he does it.
I don't know how he does it.
Yeah,
I don't know how it's like, again, it's
such an awkward shot.
For him, it's like, I don't know how he does a lot of things on a basketball court. Because, I mean, he's 7 foot. He's 200 something pound, probably 280, 290. I don't know his exact weight, but
and he doesn't look like an athlete.
He doesn't. He looks skinnier than I think people give him credit for. But you're right. He doesn't really look or move like an athlete.
Yes.
Yet he's still one of the stronger, more physically like imposing players in the league. And again, like when the Lakers are playing great defense for 23 seconds and he's able to just, I'm just going to take one step back, hit this one-legged 3 in your face, and you're going to do nothing about it. Where practically the shots hit the rafters, like he just so high arcing, and just from what he does on a night-to-night basis with just how he creates offense for not just himself but his teammates, it's just I'm in awe every single time, and I don't want to say I don't think he gets enough credit for it, but it still feels like, I mean, last night he finished with 30, 40, 14, and 13. He broke the triple-doubles record, I think, for most triple-doubles in a single playoff run with 8. And there's just definitely nights where it just doesn't feel like he's imposing his will, but then you look at it and he has stat lines like this. And that's just a testament to how great he is as a player and really how impactful he is as a player. Because it's like they can generate offense. They can generate so many easy looks whenever they want to. And they have multiple offensive threats with Jamal Murray. KCP is a good spot-up shooter. I like the minutes that Bruce Brown's played. I mean, Michael Porter Jr. has had his moments throughout these playoffs, especially at home. Like Aaron Gordon isn't the worst shooter in the world. Or I mean, he isn't the best shooter in the world, but he hit 3 threes last night. And so, I mean, yeah, it feels like the offense that they generate, they can just generate open looks whenever they want to. And a big part of that's due to Jokic.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to touch on the rest of the team, though. Like I think their 3-point percentage, or not their percentage, because I don't know, but like you said, but the way they've hit threes has been pretty impressive. And I feel like the fact that they're getting it from multiple places in the rotation is definitely a big part of it too. Because I think Michael Porter Jr. has been playing well, like you said, when he has his moments, but then that's Mr. Never Seen a Shot he didn't like. I've seen, so when he gets hot, he could get it going. But I think one of the people that's really stood out to me was KCP's 3-point shooting throughout the whole playoffs, and the consistency that I think's been there, because he had this same type of consistency when the Lakers were in the bubble. He was actually a big reason for them. And then on top of everything, I think it's been a long road for Jamal Murray, but it's a good story. Good to see him kind of pick up where he left off, or continue at least playoffs wise. How he was going crazy in the bubble, and then finally gets back now, and he's doing great things in the playoffs again. So I'm tempted, or not tempted, but I'm interested in seeing Joker and Jamal on the big stage too now for the next series.
I'm definitely intrigued for that too, because I mean they've proven obviously to play well on the big stage, or at least not the biggest stage, but on the big stage already. I mean, let me just read you some of these 3-point percentages from the playoffs. outside of Jokic, who, by the way, shooting 47% from three on nearly 4 attempts a game.
That's insane.
Just stupid stuff. But KCP 41%, Michael Porter Jr. 41%, Jamal Murray 40%, Aaron Gordon on 2.5 attempts is shooting 35%. Bruce Brown's been a little bit up and down. I mean, he's shooting 29% on 2.5 attempts. Jeff Green's cooled a little bit from the opening 2 series. He's shooting 27%. But those top 4 guys are all making threes at an incredibly high clip. And regardless, the teams that they're going to go against, either the Miami Heat or Boston Celtics, do allow a lot of threes. And so that's just something to look out for in this upcoming series. But you're right, KCP. I mean, I've also just been impressed with Denver defensively, and I think KCP, Aaron Gordon, Bruce Brown in the minutes that he plays, he's kind of like that Swiss Army knife that every team just would want on their team, even though he's 6'3", 6'4". But like their team defense to me has also been impressive throughout these playoffs. Because I mean, in the regular season, we kind of saw like it was a little bit of a roller coaster with them defensively, but I think they really found something towards the end of the season in those first couple of series, despite Devin Booker going off for a gajillion points and Kevin Durant getting his at certain points too. But I've been more impressed with their team defense. I've been more impressed with the defense of Michael Porter Jr. Like I think he's like played good as a defender throughout these playoffs. I've been impressed with Jamal Murray in certain points, him defensively. And then again, like I like what I see from Christian Brown on the defensive end when in his 15 to 20 spot minutes per game. And then, of course, obviously with KCP, Gordon's been just phenomenal defensively these entire playoffs. And he's kind of there. We're going to stick him on the best wing and see what happens. Like he guarded a lot in the second round. He got a steady dose of his minutes on LeBron this last round. But I've just been impressed with them team defense, and of course when they don't turn the ball over, which they don't, when they're able to secure rebounds, which they do as well as anyone. It just all of that. If you just bottle that up together, that just is good. It just fashions good basketball, and they're playing at this level for a reason, and that's I think just sticking all that together, it's just been a big part of it.
I think too, because I mean, even with their like, it's just even it's even scarier because I think I'd agree like they're playing good defense or great defense right now, even compared to their regular season, and they still were the number 1 seed, right? Even with their up and down defense. So, and then because I was curious too. Because their 3-pointers have been just like shocking me so far. There's no way. Like I was curious to see you have 4 people shooting in the 40%. I wonder what their regular season 3-point percentage was.
Let me pull that up right now. Wow.
Because I mean,
no, go on.
I was gonna say, well, obviously, because I'm curious about the other one, but obviously, like the Joker one is the 47%. Like, I mean, that's.
Joker shot 38% on 2 attempts in the regular season from 3. Jamal Murray 40%. Michael Porter Jr. 41% on 7 attempts. KCP 42% on 4 attempts.
See, okay, so they have just literally been like that then, but it's continued because I remember some Lakers fans, like some of my friends, like after game 1, they're like, I mean, they're like, oh, I don't know, the Nuggets just played their best offensive game. There's no way they're going to shoot like that again. So I think we'll be good to, get them. Nuggets proceeded to shoot like that 4 games in a row. So and now the Lakers got swept. But
just looking at it, the Nuggets were 4th I didn't know this actually. They were 4th in the regular season in 3-point percentage at 38%, 37.9 to be exact. Only behind the Clippers, Warriors, and Sixers. And they are the second best 3-point shooting team these playoffs at about 38.5%.
Yeah. So I think with the defense clicking and the offense looking like that, also Joker kind of, going to do Joker things. Also, and like you did say, I noticed too, they controlled the boards, I think all 4 games that series. I know for at least for 2, and it felt like the other 2 they did as well. But so that's another gonna be another big key in the finals. But I had one question. Do you think that because last night they only played seven, it, most nights they'll play like Christian Braun. Do you think they have to expand that at all in the next series, or just keep it kind of short and roll 7 or 8 out every night?
Typically, when the more the series goes on, like the further you advance, the playoff rotation shrinks.
Yeah.
And obviously, it just depends on the depth that you have, because it's like if you have 8 guys who are contributing at a high level, then you're not going to just push one of those guys out of the rotation, typically speaking. I mean, usually I'm guessing they'll probably have a set 7 that they want to play in the finals. And it helps that they have 8 days rest to kind of guys their bodies and kind of in that respect. But I think they'll go with 7, maybe 8. It depends on the flow of the game too, because it's like I was talking about this with one of my other coworkers because he asked me. We were talking about like the Heat, and he was just like, "Do you think they should have like a set rotation?" And it's just like, well, it just depends, because it's like in a game where foul trouble can happen, then you're gonna have to, and that script completely flips. I mean, yeah, you want a set 7 or 8 and a playoff rotation heading into it, but let's say player X gets in foul trouble within the first like 5 minutes of the first quarter, and then it's just like, okay, then things will change a little bit, and that it just depends on like what kind of depth you have after that. I mean, I'm guessing they're going to go with probably Bruce Brown and Jeff Green off the bench, and they might push Christian Brown out a little bit. But who's to say that Christian Brown doesn't get 10 minutes or 15 minutes or so in the NBA Finals in spot minutes where, like, let's say Michael Porter Jr. or KCP gets in foul trouble or something like that. Like, you just can't plan for that type of stuff to happen. And then obviously, like, if something like an injury happens, and obviously that's worst case scenario, but like if foul trouble does happen, or if someone's getting played off the floor because they're getting picked on or whatever the case is, then you have to kind of shift things around. And like substitution patterns, yeah, like you want to stick to that as much as you can, because you have a plan for some of these guys. But in the NBA Finals, especially when it gets later in the NBA Finals, obviously you just kind of throw all that out, and some guys will play all 48 minutes. Some guys might not. They might only play 42, 43, whatever the case is. And so you kind of have to plan for all scenarios. But I think they will, like, at least initially have a set 7, maybe 8. And then I just think you go from there.
Okay, because I was just thinking too, because I know Miami right now is keeping a little bit deeper of a rotation, and it's been working.
Right.
So I'm just thinking, I would assume, because that's obviously not the only reason, but it has been working. And I don't think the Celtics are probably running around the same kind of shorter rotation and stuff like that. So I wonder if it's the fresh bodies and the mix-up of players that's also, at least in a small part, leading to some success. And I just wonder if that could give maybe the Nuggets a little more trouble.
Right. I mean, it depends on like certain combinations that you have out there. Like, for example, I think from both Miami and Boston, when there's just one big on the floor, or at least like Cody's, like, let's say Miami does advance, and let's say Cody Zeller gets the minutes, the backup 5 minutes. He has those backup 5 minutes have not been good at all this postseason. And so then you're looking at a situation where it's like, okay, do you really want to play Cody Zeller in a series where Denver's going to go 5 out with Nikola Jokic off the floor in that kind of end of first quarter, early second quarter type sample, or are they going to put Jokic on? Like how exactly are you able to play Cody Zeller in those type of minutes, or are you going to shift to like a Haywood Highsmith or whatever the case is? But like Miami is going really 9 deep right now with their playoff rotation, but those 9 players, at least like as a whole, have played well together. And like Love got hurt. He hurt his calf in game 3. I don't know what his status will be for game 4. I think he's going to be questionable. I think he's likely going to play. But I think that he'll still get some sort of run, whether it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever the case is. But yeah.
And then I guess because unless you had anything else to say before did you want to preview the Heat game?
Yeah, we can do that.
I was gonna say it was actually fun too seeing. I thought it was pretty fun to see that the Nuggets, like, yeah, first time going to the finals. A little bit of like a smaller, or maybe not smaller market franchise for sure, compared to especially look at the teams that were just in the playoffs, like the Lakers, who they beat. Celtics are still in here. Warriors, Sixers just lost. So it was good seeing like another team like that. I was saying, like, as a Kings fan, it was kind of fun seeing like another like smaller team, not these like the blue bloods. I know it's the college term, but
Yeah.
always making it. So I mean, I'm excited. I feel like it's, even though I've heard some questions about the ratings because like all the, I guess all the big teams are gone, but for like, all basketball fans, I'd say maybe that pay attention a little bit more. I don't know how you could not want the Nuggets in the finals of how they've been playing and how fun these games have been.
The people who don't want to watch the NBA finals because it's the Heat and Nuggets and their ratings might not be high just aren't basketball fans.
Yeah,
And that's okay. Don't watch
Mhm.
it. We don't need, God forbid, the Lakers, Warriors, or Celtics don't make the finals.
Uh-huh.
Like, who the hell cares? The Heat and Nuggets it'll be good basketball. The NBA is a global sport. People are gonna watch anyways. So
Uh-huh.
we don't need you to be like, oh, the ratings won't be as high. Is there a Nielsen award for this? Is that a
Exactly. And I'm sorry to say it,
no one cares.
especially because if you're trying to compete to be the best, it's not the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
So you're not winning first place anyways. Just let's enjoy some
exactly.
great basketball and see who wins the chip.
Exactly. And it's like, again, for basketball fans, should the Heat advance or even the Celtics advance in the Nugget, it's going to be good regardless. So don't
Mhm.
miss me with the, oh, the ratings are going to be super low. Well, then you're exposing yourself as a basketball fan. I get it. Right? I got
Yeah.
it. I mean, sometimes there's been years where I've known people who have like, oh, my team got eliminated by X or whatever. I don't want to watch it. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I'm still gonna watch it. It's the
Exactly.
NBA Finals, dude. Like, I'm gonna watch every minute of it regardless. But that's just me. I'm a big basketball fan, so that's why. But yeah. What are your, just jumping in, just transitioning into tonight? What are your thoughts? Do you think Boston shows a little more urgency? Where you're at? Where's your head at?
I mean, got to keep the same energy. Surely they don't get swept, right? Like, surely, especially Boston, who I actually picked to win it.
So did
Like win it all. Yeah. So I think it's funny. I think I had Boston, Denver, but um, I don't know. Like, there's no way they lose again. I don't think. Like, and I'm sorry to say this, did not think the Heat were going to be here.
No
I
one did.
Yeah, I can't. I just can't. Sure, and you can't get swept too. But that'd be funny too. With us, there are some good series this year. If both the Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals are like sweeps too. But I mean, you're playing at the Heat at home. You saw what just happened, Game 3. But I'm gonna go ahead and err on the side of Jason Tatum. I think he's one of the best players in the league. I think Jaylen Brown is also, great. So I would take maybe them figuring it out for at least one game, getting the scoring going. Um, Hopefully, they should be doing what they've been, done all year as a great basketball team that ended up being a 2 seed. But I don't know. Himmy Butler's on the other side of the court, and he's kind of scary right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, the funniest part about Game 3 is he and Bam combined for 29 points, and yet after 3 quarters, Miami was up by 30.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like they didn't really need. I mean, Bam had the noisiest 13-3 that you could possibly have. I mean, he was trying to put every Celtics player under the rim through the Earth's core.
Yeah.
Every single, like, it just, whether it was like Strus lobbing to him and him dunking on Grant or Duncan lobbing or whatever the case is, like he was trying to put everyone through the rim. And so that was just a joy for me to see. But I mean, I don't really know what to think at this point because it's like heading into both game 2 and 3. I was expecting Boston to show a little bit more urgency. Game 3, Miami just completely punched him in the mouth over and over again, and Boston folded like a piece of paper. Even after that first quarter, I mean, it was 30-22. You could just feel that like Boston was more disjointed than Miami was.
Mm-hmm.
And Miami was just super locked in. And of course, Miami extended to 22. I think they got it to 31 at one point in the second half. But at the same time, like I really don't know what to think. I don't know if Boston is just done with the season. I don't know if they'll. I mean, there's quotes that came out this morning from both Jalen and Marcus being like, "You don't want to let us win one," and it's just like, I think Miami does have an urgency to end this like quickly because I don't think they want to
so.
the series. And so it's like they're at home; they haven't lost to home yet. I think Boston obviously gives them more of a fight, but I think Miami still finds a way to figure it out in the end. I mean, of course, if you're shooting 19 of 35 from 3, that obviously helps, like it did in Game 3.
Uh-huh.
And Miami shot over 50% in 2 of the 3 games this series. And I think Miami's so locked in, and they just look so connected right now. It's hard for me to see them losing.
Mm-hmm.
On their home floor.
I was going to say, you said they haven't lost on the home floor all playoffs?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously, but I mean, a little different because I know the Lakers hadn't lost till I think Game 3 too, but that was, that is, it's like the more you can stack up arguments, it's not looking good for the Celtics. And then I'll ask you this because I thought about this when we were talking a little bit before we got into it, but I would agree with you, even though, I mean, 3-0 is insane already, but I feel like there is some urgency, like you just said, about closing it out. Because I was just thinking, I do really believe in the Celtics team. I think they're a great team, and they're here for a reason. So I wouldn't want to give them any like reason to come back. No. But even saying that if they win one, they got to win in 3 after that is insane. But I just, because if you don't want them to figure it out at all, or even have any hope. Mm-hmm.
No, I had Celtics in 6 begrudgingly heading into this series because I was just like, I just from what I saw in the Knicks series, I thought Miami was a little bit out of like their shooting regression was pretty paramount in that Knicks series. Obviously, I thought Boston, especially after figuring it out somewhat in the Sixers series, I thought they were going to come out ready. I thought they were going to be incredibly motivated again. I thought it was going to be a hard 6 games. I mean, of course, Boston has the propensity to throw up on themselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of these games, like the Hawks series, went 6 that shouldn't have gone 6. The Sixers series went 7. I don't think that should have gone 7 either. Just in terms of like, I think Boston should have closed those series out quicker. But I thought it would be a tough 6 games, 6, 7 games, however long it was going to be. But I thought Miami, at least if they had to close it out, I think it would have been in 6 games. Being up 3-0 in this series is just blowing my effing mind.
Mm-hmm.
Really, this just entire playoff run for Miami has just blown my mind. I mean, they beat the 1 seed in 5 games. They beat the Knicks in 6, and then now they're up 3-0 on the verge of sweeping the number 2 seed in the East as being the 8th seed. Role players are stepping up left and right. They're actually hitting shots now. I mean, Caleb Martin has been just a freaking monster. He's probably been Miami's 3rd best player.
Reno's finest.
That warms my heart and it warms your heart because
he
went to Nevada. But I mean, he's probably been their 3rd best player. He's averaging 19 a game, shooting 7% from deep this series. Especially in Game 2 when Miami was down a bunch of points, he was kind of the one to kind of generate those runs back. And like, I mean, Jimmy's been Jimmy. I mean, he hasn't had like a complete FU game yet after Game 1. I mean, I know he went off on Grant Williams a little bit at the end of Game 2. Grant poked Bear a little bit. I think Bam is playing some of the best basketball of his career. But then you have guys like Gabe Vincent going off for 29 points, a career high 29 points in Game 3. Duncan Robinson going off for 22 points. Like, you're just getting contributions from everywhere. And I think if Miami can get that again tonight, they're going to be in great shape. I mean, it just felt like in Game 3, Boston was just their spirit just left their bodies, and I don't know if that's something that will be permanent. I don't know if that's something that's just a 1-game type sample, but if it just feels like from at least in these first 3 games that Miami's just been the better team, and I don't know if Boston can necessarily come back from something like what happened in Game 3. But you're right. I don't want to give them any hope. That's something you want to step on their throats, and hopefully they're able to pull out a game, or hopefully Miami's able to pull out a Game 4 win, because it's like I don't want to give Boston hope heading back to Boston. Like that's not something that I want to do, even though Miami's there already. That's just not something I want to happen.
Because then it flips to, you win one, Celtics like, oh, we got to go back home. So in their heads are like, we're winning 2. And then it goes to, well, we just got to take one more on the road. And then it's like, then we get it back home. So
it's just a slippery slope from there. Like one of my favorite teams has already been burned 3-0 by a Boston team in my lifetime. In 2004 with the Red Sox beating the Yankees, coming back down 3-0. So it's like I don't want that shit to happen again to another one of my teams. Like you could just end this tonight, make it easy, or at least compete and make it very hard on Boston. I mean, I think Miami's done a good job making it hard on them this series. Again, Jalen and Jason just haven't been good. I don't think the coaching from Azul has been that good.
I don't think the role players have been playing that well either. It's just been a bad series.
They haven't. It's just been it's been worst case scenario for Boston, and I don't know. I just don't know if they'll be able to get one tonight at home in Miami. Again, I think the urgency from Miami. I think it's going to be. People like to make fun of like Miami fans showing up late because of the Miami traffic, but I think it's going to be a juiced up crowd. I think the team is just ready to get this over with and advance to their 7th ever NBA Finals, their 2nd in 4 years, and so I just think they close it out tonight. But that's obviously come from a little bit of a biased perspective. But
for sure, I think. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good. I'd be excited not to obviously speak on anything like too soon or whatever. But yeah, Miami Nuggets. I think Nuggets are a fun team to root for with different pieces. I mean, I think Miami's a fun team to root for. It's been interesting, like watching Martin and then seeing him, rooting for him in the first couple of years, ups, downs, because like we know what he could do. And then, but now I'm saying he's getting his love on like social media a little bit. I've seen a couple posts like Miami always has the best role players and stuff like that. And then even like I've always been a Bam fan. And I was a little worried. I didn't think he was playing too well in that Bucks series, but I thought he's really been picked it up and playing and bringing some intensity and stuff. And then even Duncan Robinson, I saw him on social media because, bubble Duncan and then kind of struggled a little bit. And then, I think he was doing Euros and jellies last game. And everyone was like, when has he ever had this in his bag? And then like even Gabe Vincent, he's from California. So I know like been in trained some like Sacramento people, and then like even some of my friends, he went to the same high school as some of my friends in Stockton that they go to. So like the team, I don't know. I feel like there's a team as a whole is fun to root for. The Nuggets team as a whole is fun to root for, and hopefully they both Miami's just kind of looked like killers this whole playoffs, and Nuggets have looked like killers. And it's like we said earlier, it's fine to get some new blood in there too.
Yeah, it's just like. I'm with you. I mean, the Nuggets were one of the teams in the West that I probably watched the most this season, just because of like the collective group that they had. I mean, I love watching Nikola Jokic. Obviously, I love watching like KCP, and I like watching like Michael Porter Jr. and obviously Jamal Murray. But they are a very fun group to watch, and it's just like now possibly. In the coming days, I'll have to root against them, and like that.
Yeah,
I mean, I vaguely remember the 2 regular season matchups that they had. I mean, Miami was giving minutes to Jamari Bouye, Orlando Robinson, and like one other like 2-way guy, and so it's just like it's hard to take away from some of these regular season matchups. But like the Bam Jokic battles have been fun over the years, at least for me personally. I mean, I know Bam gives him a little bit of a hard time, but again, Jokic is still going to get his. Like I remember, I think it was right before New Year's. Miami was on a West Coast trip, and they went to go play at Denver, and like Miami, it was a close game practically the entire way, and Bam was giving Jokic like a very like he was just being physical with him. He was denying him, he was fronting him, doing whatever he could just to kind of take him out physically. But then in like the final 5 minutes, Jokic is like, you know what, I'm just going to turn up. And that's exactly what he did. And he closed that game out. I don't remember the exact amount of points he had over that stretch, but he was really phenomenal just late in that game and just completely took over when Denver needed him to. And it's just like such a pain in the ass to watch and root against. Mm-hmm. It's just like there's nothing you can do with this guy. He's simply unguardable.
Yeah.
And that's just gonna be that's gonna be me over if Miami advances, that's just gonna be me in this next series being like, God damn it, like this guy's such a pain in the ass he's gonna get 35, 13, and 12. And it's just there's just gonna be nothing that anyone can do about it. And it's just really a matter of Miami can stop the rest and not because again, Jokic is good enough to where he's just gonna get his. Like if they can stop Jamal, if they can stop MPJ, if they can stop KCP, if they can stop Bruce Brown from hitting those couple corner threes a game, like they'll be in decent shape. But yeah,
I think if anything, I still like the Celtics too because I like Jason Tatum a lot, and Jaylen Brown. I like Jaylen Brown as well. But I think, it's tough to look at this series C3-0 and then not already start planning for Miami. But I wouldn't mind exactly. So I don't like when teams ever get swept. I wouldn't mind one other game. So I'll say I'm rooting for the Celtics tonight. Maybe pull it off. Maybe go home, win another one. No, but we'll see what happens. I'm excited. And I wonder because closeout game. I wonder how many points Jimmy scores tonight. But same way on the brink of elimination, I wonder if Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown finally step up.
I think all three of them will actually.
It's gonna be a big battle.
Being honest,
so it'll be a good game then.
I think I think it'll be like Boston's gonna definitely show more urgency, but I just think like a part of me believes that Miami will find something in the final 6 minutes or whatever and close it out. But
seems like they've been doing that all playoffs.
Right, Miami's 6 of their 11 wins have come by double-digit comebacks. Like they've came back from 11, 12, 13,
that's insane.
15, and 16 points. Like they've came back from. They've had so many double-digit comebacks. Again, they're another one of those teams that just has been resilient, and like you just can't count them out. And if they fall in that situation again at home again behind a home crowd, I think Boston will be much better defensively than they were in Game 3. Kind of similar to what they were in games 1 and 2. But again, I just think like I'm always weary. Personally, I'm always wary of like. Again, being up 3-0, being up 3-1, whatever the lead is, because it's like, again, if the opponent finds some sliver of momentum, then that can be a huge part in turning a series or making it at least more competitive. And like me, I'm always been more of a pessimistic, like, hey, I don't want this to happen. Like, get 3-1, like my head's going to like, oh my God, they're gonna come back. Like that's just how I've always been wired as like a fan, just from like any of my teams. And so it's like, when it. Again, tonight it's just one of those things where it's just like close this shit out. I don't want to have to worry about this anymore. Just get to the NBA Finals, clinch the Eastern Conference, do it in front of your home fans. Like don't play with your food. That's really don't act like you've already won the series because they haven't. It's the first to 4 to a reason. You got to go above 500 to win one of these series, and now is a good time to do that. Obviously, when you're up 3-0 at home, just close it out. Don't fuck around. Or else you're going to give Boston hope, and that's not something that I want.
I think, the game's at 5:30. The line's at 1, actually favoring Miami. So, yeah, I'm excited for tonight then. If there was there anything
that went down?
Really?
I took it at 1.5 because I'm a degenerate betting idiot.
No.
I'm rooting for my team.
Exactly, as you should. That's the best money you make when you place bets is when it's on your team as well. It makes it even sweeter.
I have a coworker, one of my Heat friends. He's been betting Heat money line in like every game this postseason, and they've always been underdogs. And so he's just making bank on bank on bank. Like he did it for like the Bucks series when it was like plus 200. Like he's been doing it this entire series, and like I've kind of strayed away from that because it's just like I was just always a little bit more skeptical about Miami heading into the series, but I was just like. Although I do have a ticket for both Miami and Boston to win the East and win the NBA Finals, so I guess I'm riding with that. I hedged
exactly
myself.
Nice.
Other than that, I'm not. Other than that, this is like one of the first times all playoffs that I've like took a Heat bet, but hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me in the ass. And
I know
if that does, then I'm not doing it the rest of the series.
Exactly. Gotta do that because I was gonna say it's funny that because me and my friend, we placed Kings bets like first round and then like Western Conference but we were leaving and my friend's dad called him and had texted him to place a Heat bet to win the Eastern Conference Finals. And then we had just left and we're on the way home when we saw that. And he's texted him after every game, been like, "Are you serious? They won like the Bucks series." He's like, "Bro, no, like, little joke. Won the Knicks series." And he's like, "No, like this is crazy. Like, are you serious? You're like selling right now." But it's whatever.
I think I did my Heat one. I got it at near a little above 3-1 odds. I think it was like plus like 320 or 325 during the middle of the Knicks series.
Okay.
I already had a Boston one. I think plus 4. I think it was plus 400, maybe plus 425 before the playoffs started. And so it's like just to hedge my bet a little bit just in case. Because I had a feeling that Boston was going to win that Philly series regardless. Mm-hmm. And it sweated it out a little bit. But
I was say I didn't think it would be that close.
Yeah. I think I had Boston in 5 that series. So I was just like, I don't think like it's with a hurt and beat. I just don't think they have enough. But again, Boston has a propensity to throw up on themselves a little bit. So that went definitely longer than expected. But yeah, man, do you have anything else before we wrap this up?
No, I think I'm excited. We'll see what happens in Game 4.
Let's see if there's any like pressing news that have come out because I know there's definitely been times where I've done this, and like there's been news that's came out that I missed. Not that I can see. Again, congratulations to the Denver Nuggets. Congratulations to both Garrett and Jerry. And if we have any other Nuggets fans, I don't know if we do, but congratulations to them. Again, first NBA Finals ever. The NBA Finals is awesome.
Got to be a good feeling.
It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. Hopefully the Kings are able to make it again one of these years.
In my lifetime, yeah.
Don't worry. I have another Kings fan friend of mine who was like on cloud 17 just throughout this entire season of obviously in the postseason. Even though they obviously lost to Golden State in 7, but like it was just to have that playoff experience moment in their lifetime it's super cool. But hopefully they're able to continue that onto the future because it's like this is to my Dallas Mavericks people out there. This is why you make the playoffs because the shit is a lot of fun when you're a fan.
The whole city was active when I was because I visited a couple times just to see everything, and it was definitely a different atmosphere. It's fun.
It's crazy, especially in Sacramento, but like just in general, playoff atmospheres, especially when you're in a city where there's a lot of passionate fans. It's
like good awesome. Fan bases. Yeah,
it's the best, probably the best feeling. But like and subscribe, give us a 5-star rating. Thank you all for watched. There's 2 people that watched. Thank you for those who watched. I don't really have anything else to add. Anthony, do you want to put? Do you have anything to plug?
No, I mean, just some Vendetta articles.
Yeah, go check out vendettasportsmedia.com. Go check out. We do a lot of great NBA coverage. Obviously, the NHL playoffs are going on right now. Football, even though it's the off season, that's always in full swing. Trey's putting out
a lot of draft,
a lot of college stuff. So please go check that out when you can. Again, vendettasportsmedia.com. Thank you for all watching. Hope you'll have a nice Tuesday.